Whatever booze out there, I'm your goddess Nazca, here with another chosen video. I believe this one is from O'Reilly. I think I pushed it back because I already did a video of his earlier that stream and it was getting crowded. I promised I'd bring it back, and here it is.
Demons. Name a more iconic duo. I'll wait. Well, unfortunately for every human down in Florida, every 23 years for 23 days, a creature would arise to hunt down humans and harvest them for its own means. As brother and sister Trish and Derry would find out traveling home from college for spring break, this creature would begin hunting them after seemingly letting them go.
So we were nice, friendly Digimon with a little spice of dark, and now we're just going straight into horror. Happy Halloween coming up, y'all. If anyone's ever seen this movie, I have. I've also seen the sequel to it. I don't know if there was more than 2 sequels, or more than 1 sequel. So it was Jeepers Creepers and Jeepers Creepers 2. This weird demon thing that takes people's body parts and skins them. And yeah, woof.
See, further on past this point, the creature's hunting patterns will change as it begins to attack
the
groups.
sequel.
So today
I don't
it's
remember.
We're covering the beast from Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, because we don't talk about Jeepers Creepers 3. So strap.
Oh, there was a 3 and it sucked. Good to know. Why do they do that? They always, I swear, this always happens with horror movies or with almost any movie where they make the first movie, it's awesome. The second movie is like meh, and then the third movie's garbage. That happens way too often. Jeepers Creepers monster, kind of the nightmare fool sometimes. Yeah. Especially from the first movie. Because money.
Because this is probably going to be a longer video. Up on screen, you will see a timestamp that will bypass the summaries because we were covering both movies. I decided to do this after the debacle that was the Wreck breakdown. So let's go ahead and get to it. We open up with Trish Jenner and her brother Derry traveling in a pretty sweet 1960 Impala.
The second movie is better than the first movie, but that's rarely happens. Yeah, that is a rarity. Like, okay, here's a good example of where I think the third movie is the best out of the whole series. Actually, I got 2 examples of that. Okay, the Sonic movies. The first movie, I didn't care too much. It was okay. First movie didn't care too much. It was okay. The second movie, I was like, ooh, I'm getting into this. The third movie was amazing. And my second example of this, where the third movie is better in my opinion, would be the Deadpool movies. First Deadpool, it was pretty good. It was okay. Second movie, ooh, really like it, did. And then third movie, well, it was amazing. And some movies need sequels. Yeah, when they don't finish stuff that they set out to do. Yeah, true. I prefer when they continue. Yes, I agree to that. I prefer when they continue when they need to continue. But if their movie finishes everything, this also goes for animes too. You don't need another season after the first if you completed everything you set out. Good example of that would be Rising of the Shield Hero. It did not need these sequels. It should have just ended with the first season. It was good the way it was there. And now it's turning garbage. Yeah. Avengers is a good example. Yeah. As the Avengers. Yeah, especially, because fucking Endgame was amazing and stuff. I remember going to see that like a good couple of times in theaters because I loved it so much. Oh, yeah. Avengers was good. Good. Deadpool Wolverine's good. Yes. And you need a sequel if you tell a story that's really long too, or you need all the episodes ever if you're gonna be doing One Piece. I'm starting to fall asleep during the third movie of Deadpool. I didn't know that Wolverine died. I was too lost and confused. I'm sorry. Endgame was good, but there were way more good films. Yeah, of course. It was not too okay. It was truly awesome. Yeah. Not
Although we all really know the best year for Impala was 1967.
Went on a
Regardless,
tangent
they were
there.
coming back from college for spring break. While driving through the scenic
Naruto,
Florida
One
countryside, a large, old-looking truck that is being pushed really way faster than it needs to be able to go threatens them and tailgates.
Actually, good question, Loco. I'll say, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super stuff. Technically, Dragon Ball Z ended a long time ago after the Buu saga. This is just kind of extra, especially with the passing of the creator. I feel like Dragon Ball Z needs to just go back to rest. Naruto. I feel like Naruto's ended a long time ago too. I do not consider Boruto anything. I don't care for it. One Piece is nearing its end. It's getting there. It's reaching to its conclusion. Yeah. But even better, the great Marvel movies to come. Yup, yeah. Sort of disagree. At Endgame, they should have rebooted or just tell the stolen stories. Nyama nyama. Boruto was, that's a thing. Yep. Boruto is not that bad. My friend told me that he was like, you're not gonna like me for this, but I actually like Boruto. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. It isn't, but it's a why. Did it need to exist? Probably not. Yeah.
They try to let it pass, but it has no intentions and instead keeps driving up on their tail, which threatens to run them off the road. Eventually, the truck does pass them, to which Derry remarks is probably just some hillbilly. Though, much more likely, because it's in Florida, it's really just Florida Man. As they're cruising down the road a little bit later, they see the same truck is stopped at a pipe near an old church. The creature notices them passing while he is throwing a blood-stained sheet down the pipe, which causes the creature to go after them. As he begins to chase them, he runs them off the road, frightening them, and gets the old adrenal glands pumping, and then breaks off the chase.
Damn it, I wish Trucker Man was here. He could tell me what that car is.
After they manage their escape, or really are just let go for reasons unknown to them, they go back to the church to try to figure out what exactly is going on, which is likely an awful idea and will prove to be one. Derry hears some noises coming further down the pipe, and he decides, yo, you know what's a good idea? Crawling down this pipe, with Trish grabbing his feet. He tries to see how far he can go.
Look, it's stupid Americans being stupid Americans. Yay! Especially when they're teenagers. That's a good idea to go down a pipe.
But eventually, he is then dropped into the dwelling. Once he wakes up in a darkened hole, he finds a man who is already on his way out. He pulls back the sheet to find that his abdomen has been sliced open and stitched back up with rope. The man meets his end fairly quickly, and after Derry begins to look around, he ultimately finds hundreds of people sewn together on the walls in various poses, and quite honestly, which is normal.
I forgot about the wall of people.
Freaks out as he exits the pipe and then heads out to the car. The two flee the church and head
I've
down
seen
the
some
road
shit.
to find help. They stop at a diner and gas station and run inside saying that they need some assistance. The phone begins to ring and a strange woman warns them that they are in danger. She tells them that if they hear the song Jeepers Creepers, then the demon is close and they need to run away as fast as they can, though likely this is going to do nothing for them. As they call the
I find that funny how this whole movie is based off of this one really old song. I wouldn't even watch or recommend some the tales that ended there. Yeah. If the tale's done, it's done. Well, the second movie was good. Should have been stopped there. Yeah. You guys are just fighting there in the comments.
The cops shortly after their
with
arrival and they let them know what's happening. The police are fairly reluctant to believe what they say. While talking, the diner worker comes up and says something just raided their car. They run outside and find their lawn.
Oh, Barto has no fight sense. Again, I wouldn't know because I'm not watching it. I tried watching like the first episode and I was like, boring. I can believe that.
About, and the car was open. Derry heads to the car to find a handprint on it. The police at this point begin to believe them, at least to a degree, and decide to give them a security escort out of the area. As they were driving down the road, the police learn that the church where the bodies were has caught fire. The signal goes out and the police car lurches. The female cop looks out the window to find that the beast is standing on top of the car. It makes short work of the female cop before pulling the male cop out by his head and then cutting it off quickly. The two cars almost wreck, but the beast is actually the one who is driving driving the cop car. It then exits the car and eats the tongue.
Yay! Oh, yeah, that scene was gross. But, yeah, okay, if I remember correctly, I'm not sure what he stole from the first victim. Maybe his heart or something, where it was cut in the abdomen. But he needs a tongue, and he needs eyes. It's something to, so he can have senses. Not sure what the heart's for. That's a guess, I'm not sure. I don't think they ever said. But yeah, he needs these specific body parts to be able to talk, be able to see, and stuff like that. So right now, I believe he is basically blind, so he's just using his sense of hearing to chase them, I believe. I think that's the whole thing here.
Out of the male cop's head. Trish and Derry floor it out of the area as the beast loads up the bodies into its truck. They speed down the road before finally stopping at a reclusive
so I don't
old woman's
remember
house
this
and then beg
movie
for her
so
to call
much.
the police.
Yeah.
She asks who they brought
It
with
has
them
been a
as
long
the creeper
time,
is
yeah.
just outside her fence. She pulls out a boomstick and fires at it. It
No,
breaks through the
lady,
roof of her
no.
house and then begins terrorizing the cats inside her home. She heads in and
Kitties,
then after
no.
2 shots are fired, she appears at the door not talking. It turns out the creature is basically just presumably lifting her up by her midsection as this creature reveals its face. And they surmise pretty accurately, this thing isn't really quite human. Trish and Derry are followed out to...
Yeah. His eyes are all glossy, so he's blind. So I guess he's just using hearing, maybe like a sonar thing to chase them. That's the only thing I could figure. He's the most not vision impaired blind man ever, or blind creature, I should say.
which Trish ends up hitting and running over the creature multiple times, which does seem to injure it, to which it attempts to fly away, but its other wing is apparently broken. As they drive to the local police station, they're
Run it
approached
over
by
again!
Psychic
No!
Giselle.
Wait. Okay. If you run over your monster, you need to... and you see that it's injured, you need to back that car up and run it over again. And then just drive off again. And maybe do that a couple more times. Double tap with your car.
A Hartman. She tells them that she was actually the woman that had called them at the diner. She begins to tell them, much to the dismay of the police, what this thing wants. Known as an ancient creature called the Creeper,
It
it
wants
wakes
your
up
body
every 23
parts.
years for 23 days during the spring to feast on human body parts and add it to its own. She also explains that the creature seeks out people based on fear and that once it's found something it likes, it won't stop. And unfortunately for Derry, it's found something it likes. The wounded Creeper was able to fly into the police station after healing itself enough and then broke into a jail cell where it ate a prisoner to further heal itself. After doing so, a cop finds it and begins
Food.
firing on it, but it does very little to stop it. The Creeper is then swarmed by all the police in the station, but takes out a number of them in the process and continues to evade capture. As they are
that's
trapped
a
like a
lovely
rat in
hole.
a chia pet, Giselle warns Trish and Derry that one of
Rat
them
in a
is going to
chia
meet their
pet.
end terribly. Derry demands to know who, and Giselle looks at Trish. After they are put in the interrogation room, the Creeper ends up finding them and sniffing and tasting them. Creeper throws Trish aside, but then chooses Derry. Trish then offers her life for her brothers, to which the Creeper
Yeah, he would probably think that was disgusting because the fact that he feeds off of fear and she's trying to sacrifice herself for her brother shows that she's not very afraid. So yeah, of course he would go after the brother in that regard. So men are more afraid than women in this case. Apparently, YouTube didn't send my last message. So sad. What was your last message? Turn the monster into a road pizza.
appears to almost consider the offer, but then escapes out the window with Derry. The day after Trish is picked up by her parents and Giselle returns home in regret. As the church had already burned down, the Creeper had to change hideouts. An abandoned factory.
Where
a
did the
pan
cats
through
run
reveals
to?
the
I
Creeper is
don't know.
working on something. When it moves in, we
Out.
see the back of Derry's head and a large portion of his brain has been removed. So much so that after the Creeper took his eyes, you can see straight through to the other side where the Creeper looks through to reveal it has taken Derry's eyes and added it to its own. So now fast forward 3 days, this drops us off at day 22 to the events of Jeepers Creepers 2. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a long...
Okay, so that's where the first movie ended. Here comes the second movie. It was running, who would be afraid of him? I don't know. I mean, you got this weird demon gargoyle thing that's like goring people who's like really fast. Yeah, this is pretty scary. I mean, these guys had guns and they shot it. It did nothing. You see the holes he makes out of people. How would you not be afraid? It was running the creature over 4 times, turning it to street pizza. Oh no, that showed up. That showed up. So I can't read everything all the time.
On the old farm, a family is working on setting up scarecrows to keep their crops from being ransacked. One scarecrow in particular, we see crows appear to be surrounding it. As the youngest son Billy sets up, he notices that the scarecrow looks a little stranger than normal. As the dad Jack tries to
the
set
worst
up a
scarecrow
post hole,
ever.
and his younger son Jackie is working on a car. Billy approaches the scarecrow and then notices that it actually
Billy,
has
no!
giant claws. Billy turns tail to run as the creeper gives chase. Billy takes off yelling for his brother and his dad as the creeper flies overhead, smelling the fear on Billy. He pounces on him to keep him quiet moments later as both Jack and Jackie have heard Billy yell. His dad runs out with a boomstick, but before they can get to Billy, the creature flies off with him as he meets his
Billy, no!
Sort of like a piece of his brain being extracted. Or at least that's what it appears to be. The next day, the family is obviously pretty bummed out, not completely understanding what they just saw. They latch onto the idea that this thing took their son and brother and decide to seek it out for revenge. Further away...
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, revenge! Use revenge, because if you have revenge, you're not as scared, right? The kid failed. The kid was probably a really good treat, because kids tend to be more scared than adults. So yeah, I'm surprised this Jeepers Creepers thing doesn't have more kid corpses on its wall. No, it's not you. It's probably my phone. But I don't see it. Lavans! That's where the kid failed. He shouldn't have been afraid. So the best way to defeat the Jeepers Creepers is to not be afraid. Ooh, this is like Big Mom. This is like Big Mom. If you're not afraid of them, the power doesn't work.
The Bannon Bantam basketball team, try saying that 3 times fast, is returning home from a championship game.
So you
as they
can't
are
kill them, because it's always a comeback. Yeah, true. You saw we ran him over and he just healed, so...
To the school, they become stranded on East 9 Highway in Kissel County when their bus blows out a tire.
Teenagers.
After the adults exit the bus, they hear over the radio that after the creeper's lair burnt down, they had found over 500 bodies, some with wooden teeth, meaning that this thing is several hundred years old. However, the theme was that...
Wait, they had wooden teeth? Does that mean he ate George Washington?
No body was
found. Oh my god, we found George Washington's body
parts. While the adults try to radio for help, the teens take a break and relax on them.
Also a great gun advancement. Gun versus creeper. The police did use guns. It sucked. And that one guy I think was using a shotgun, so yeah. Hey, look at all these kids sunbathing. Where's the one fat kid who's like, meh, I wish I could be up there too, but that's all blurry.
Ruth, the creeper flies over Kimball, freaking him out, but does not take him at this point, as possibly the creeper may be only wanting to eat at night. The adults, after not being able to reach help, decide that their only option is really just to limp the bus back to town. In a stroke of luck, back across the county, Jack has found the dagger dropped by the creeper. After taking a look at it, it flies from his hand. He determines that this is a weapon to use to attack the creature. He welds it to a homemade harpoon gun and then attaches it to a truck, but becomes frustrated when he can't get it into the proper shape. As time continues into the 23rd night, Minxie is having a dream. In it, Derry and Billy are trying to warn her of what's out in the cornfield. When she looks out, she spots the creature throwing another star at the tires, to which they immediately blow out the remaining tire. Here, things start to go totally south. As the adults attempt to...
Oh yeah! If I remember correctly, the stars were made out of, like, human, bone, I want to say. I think it was. Tank and a bus versus creeper. And then you're gonna have to keep running it over. Maybe, just set the tank on top of it. And then leave. They'll probably figure out a way to wiggle out of there. And just break some stuff and just kind of squish, squish, squish. Yeah, those demons are very tricky. Also gonna, oh yeah, you already said.
Set out flares and warn other drivers. Another car pulls up. They say that they will go get help and the cops and then take off. While they do, one of the coaches gets pounced on and taken away before his yell even registers. The flare drops from way up high as everyone has no idea what just happened. The bus driver then orders everyone back onto the bus as Bucky radios for help to no avail. As he does, the bus driver puts down a 4th flare and then is taken off into the sky, just like the coach. While attempting to understand what is happening from inside the bus as their final coach stands just outside the door, the creeper then grabs him and tries pulling him away. He latches on with a death grip to the frame, but even with the help of the teens and his death grip, the creeper proves that his strength is superior to multiple of the players, as then that coach is then taken off, and then they scramble back inside and close the doors. Back across...
You football teenagers have no hope. Man, this is just the perfect, like, buffet. It's just a buffet on wheels for the Jeepers Creepers monster. Perfect pickings.
County, Jack is listening to the scanner and finds the creeper may be making his attack. Upon hearing Kissel County had stories, this leads him to...
It flies, though! The climbing on the bus would not help nothing. That would just be easy pickings.
His target along with his son to seek revenge for the taking of the youngest. Back on the bus, everyone is attempting to radio for help when the creeper latches onto the bus and begins to smell everyone's fear. As it does this, they quickly hide, but what's the point? The creature then moves around to the back of the bus looking
He already has eyes.
As he makes his selection, he finally gets to D, who appears to be his main target as he shivers with pleasure, which is a statement I know.
Ew. It's like Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. It's like, oh, you're so scared. You're giving me a monster boner.
Never want to say again, if I'm being totally honest. He shakes the bus, loosening bolts
He's humping the bus.
The roof and flies away. Minxie at this point passes out and has a vision. She is told that every 23rd spring for 23 days, it gets to eat us. For hundreds of years, this thing has been in an endless cycle, and so far, no human intervention has been able to take it down, and it just keeps coming back. As the Taggarts get closer to their confrontation with the creeper, they happen upon the car that had passed the bus earlier.
Cool.
The strength of the creeper.
Lately, this was your suggestion, right? Just double checking.
The roof has been completely peeled back like some sort of tin can, with both the driver and passenger long gone. As they investigate, they receive a distress call from the bus. Jack informs the teens that they will call the police, but turns off the radio as the creeper is his prey, and no matter who gets in the way, he will avenge his son. As they feel a sense of relief, they begin cheering. The creeper then lands back on the bus and pierces the roof and begins to pull Bucky up by his head. They grab him, but are losing ground quick. Rhonda runs up with a javelin and puts it to the roof and impales the monster through the shoulder. Just pretty much annoying it greatly.
Okay, so obviously, again, the girl is the most brave, so she's not tasty. It's the guys that are the puss. The guys are the ones that have the puss, not the women who actually have puss.
She then retracts the javelin and then pierces it through the head, which does actually do some more significant damage. It appears as though it is not able to remove the javelin, and it also shows Derry's eye that it took, which is now completely useless, so Derry just totally ate dirt for no reason. It removes the javelin through the side of its head and looks pretty disoriented. The creature then tries to fly off before falling back down onto the bus, blowing out all the windows. With the creature on the roof, now is the time to run. They attempt to open the doors, but discover that the creature had actually sealed them in by damaging the bolts. As they attempt to get out, the creeper's wing falls through the roof, scaring everyone. As the wing lays there, Dante investigates it, which it awakens and then ensnares him in the wing.
He was basically a fly who just got caught up in a, God, what are those things called? Fly trap, Venus flytrap. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, that was, okay, cool. I like when I know the thingies that I thingy and say.
Upon doing so, the creature rips off Dante's head and leaves the body flail around until finally collapsing.
Chicken without a head.
Everyone is more than a little shaken at this point. Rhonda takes a look at the creeper, who is on the roof still, to see Dante's head moving up through the creature's body. It is pulled up through the neck and then reanimated. Upon doing so, it changes into the creeper's normal morphology and then flies off fully reformed and oriented. After this, Scotty just wants to...
Wait, why not keep the better looking face? Why did you have to mutate it to your ugly original face?
Run. He points out that there are two classes of people, those that will be eaten and those that won't, and that the Taggarts could be a very long way off and even going in the wrong direction, which, you know, he kind of is right about that. After some argument, some get off the bus, some stay on. Those that get off quickly see the creeper watching them against the backlight of the moon and all take off running. The creeper quickly picks off the guy with a star to the back of the head. Scotty is then pinned by his arm to a tree by the knife that the creeper had. As they try to free Scotty, they finally pull the knife, but the creeper then flies in for a quick bite, taking Scotty off into the distance.
Well, your plan failed miserably. Good job. Headless zombie scare. No, that was a headless chicken scare.
While the fast food flees, Minxie is then picked up by the Taggarts. Jack demands to be taken to the bus, but Minxie explains that it cannot be taken out by normal means. Because of this, there's really no point. Jack really doesn't care as they continue on to where the bus is located. Arriving back at the bus, Bucky is in the process of once again being taken by the Creeper. However, Jack puts a harpoon through the creature's center mass, impaling.
Man, poor glasses kid. When you got glasses, you always get picked on. Claws to the head. Oh, he almost got his skull crushed. Oh. Well, chuck and jockey.
The creature then tries to fly away and begins to pull the truck as the harpoon is connected by a rope. As Jack attempts to reel it in, he's not successful as this thing is really...
The Jeepers Creepers monster is like the Moby Dick, and he has the what is the name of the captain who wants the Moby Dick? With this harpoon, I stab at thee.
Freaking strong. The truck continues to be pulled around like a toy. Eventually, the harpoon is dislodged. But Jack is able to get a shot off on the creature through the bus. The creeper then flies back into the sky and begins to go hard. It is able to begin pulling over the bus and the truck before ultimately flipping the truck entirely. As the creature escapes into the sky, Izzy, Rhonda, and Dee find the truck that they saw earlier with the bug on it. They quickly get in after seeing a shadow overhead and begin to flee. They drive as fast as the truck is able to, but it's clear it's not going to work as this creature can reach a speed well over 100 miles per hour. As it catches up and gets closer and closer to Dee, he fires a flare in it, knocking it off balance and away temporarily. Izzy drives into a field and then pushes Rhonda out to save her.
Oh, she'd be the last. No, you need to save your black friend, because he's the one that gave the monster a boner. He's the one he's after. The truck did a barrel. It did like a little winky rubble. Winky wobble. Looks like they did not plan this well. Nope. They needed to pay attention to who was the people that gave monster boners. And he really did. She was probably the safest one.
Crashes through the truck and flips it. As Dee wakes up, he sees that the creature is sniffing the air and it quickly locates him. However, the creature is also missing an arm and a leg, so it begins jumping towards him to heal itself. Dee begins crawling away with the creeper on his tail. Eventually, they get into a keep-away match just long enough for the creeper to get a harpoon through the head. It falls backwards as Jack walks over to it and begins to stab it multiple times.
No one kills my baby boy!
As he does, it does appear that the creature is gravely injured. While laying there, it seems to meet its end as its eyes shut and it begins to bleed. However, its eyes shoot back open and it stares at Jack with the wings beginning to cover its head. Minxie explains that it's really not dead. Jack stabs it again and says that it looks dead to him, but Minxie knows that it actually
just stabbing it.
Time. At the end, we see that Jack is aged 23 years along with his son. They are waiting for the bat out of hell to come back within the next 3 days, give or take a day or two.
Bat out of... They pinned it up in their barn, and they did a trophy. I mean, if it's gonna come back to life, but you need someone stronger. You're too old. You can't take it out again. Of course, he just has a turret ready there. Okay, that's smart. That's smart. The legend of the They had to pass this on to each generation. Just each generation, okay, he's waking up, time to shoot a harpoon at it. The captain of Moby Dick isn't, I don't think so, Lord Parkwake. The creature is playing Froggy.
It was waiting for it to arise so he can begin the fight all over again. The creature is looking somewhat emaciated at this point in its hibernation, meaning that metabolic activity is still taking place and it is very much still alive. Alright, so you still there? Excellent. Told you this is going to be a long video. So for those that did stick around, it's time to mess with those just returning. So for everyone returning at this point, that's why Jeepers Creepers in my book ranks 9 out of 10 in the sex factor, as explained about 5 minutes ago. Okay, so now we have a decent understanding as to what this thing is capable of. Let's get a good look at it before trying to figure out what exactly it is. As believe it or not, there are some context clues if you do pay attention. As seen when Billy was trying to get a...
Okay, so the Jeepers Creepers monster is based off of some type of lore, some type of monster thingy. They're going to tell us what it is, I am sure. He can be stabbed, but he is immune to guns. I think because he made like a spear out of like some kind of special ritual knife. That they mention that in the movie at some point. And I don't know. They managed to stab him enough. They had him cornered. He had a lot of damage on him, so yeah. The ones with the guns, he didn't get enough damage, I guess. Yeah. Steel blade versus non-steel bullets. Movie logic. Yeah, that too.
Good look at the Scarecrow, we see that this creature has a plantigrade structuring of its feet, much like you or I. However, it does appear to also possess claws on each toe. These claws can be used, as well as the feet, for grasping prey up much more easily, kind of like a gargoyle would should the need arise. This would imply that the bones of the feet have been altered to some degree to become more grasping than like our feet are, which is just really more for walking. The legs themselves are plantigrade as well, with forward-facing knees that bend much like a human's. Moving up to the abdomen and torso, we begin seeing this creature is pretty jacked, but also possesses skin much thicker than that of humans. Appearing to possess scales on its body, this clearly protects it from the tools of humanity and allows it to keep going. It can have...
Okay, so I'm guessing bullets just don't do much to him because they're so tiny versus, well, like I said, the knife that they made a spear out of was some kind of weird ritual knife they found that belonged. I don't know why you would have it. Magic MacGuffin, okay? Magic MacGuffin. Oh, fuck. What's in this? We're learning about what this Jeepers Creepers monster is. It's sounding like gargoyle, but what kind?
However, be pierced if the object is sharp
Jersey
enough,
Devil?
but we will get to the internal anatomy later on.
Were you in Jersey?
The arms are actually not crazy large. This creature overall is more stout and powerful, making it able to subdue an athletic human with little to no problem unless incredibly injured. However, it does not appear to possess infinite strength by any stretch of the imagination, as we saw at the end of Jeepers Creepers 2, when it was able to be held off from its prey and then takes a harpoon to the face. The hands of the creeper, again, are powerful and tipped with claws, much like the feet, but not unbreakable. Moving up to the head is where the real moneymaker is. This thing is butt ugly. The skin on its face is scaly and overlapping. Flanking either side of the chin appears to be scaly jowls that run up to the sides of the nose. Its mouth is lined with razor-sharp teeth that are like little tiny needles. Lines of scaling can be seen running all over the head, but really this just appears to be where the claws sit from the back of the head. The nose has a third opening.
Yeah, it's got like this like water monster mixed with gargoyle kind of aesthetic. Like, oh god, I can't think of this one water monster that's coming to my head. I don't think it's a kappa I'm thinking of, it's something else, but I'm not sure what.
Around center bridge that opens up to allow more air in to absorb the sense of prey. This creature also appears to have some hair on the back of its head in the first movie, but when it gets a new head, this is all lost, and that makes it completely barren. Overall, this creature does appear to be roughly human-sized, but significantly more powerful and able to resist damage far surpassing that of humans. That said, I wanted to talk about its internal biology for a moment as we get a better idea of what this thing is. Why does the creeper exist? Well, like I said, the lore mentions every 23 years, 23 days it gets to eat, but it's not so much eating only as it is replacing damaged body parts, as we know it took Derry's eyes, and it also ate the officer's tongue, and it replaced massively damaged body parts like the head with other heads. So the question is, internally, is this thing living? Well, surely it must be alive, because if it wasn't alive, why would it need to replace body parts? Also, if it suffers enough damage to its body, it appears it can be halted or at minimum disoriented enough by this action. However, damage that would appear to take it out doesn't really take it out, but the same damage does have some effect on it. With this in mind, what do we know about demons? Well, apart from biblical scripture, let's say they beat the hell out of humans and really can only be banished, not necessarily killed by us. It also raises the question as to what a demon would actually want with the human body apart from possession. But I mean, why would it observe hibernation patterns, have to
Yeah, this is definitely a weird one. Definitely probably some I think it probably would be more something demonic in that regard, but I don't know what this thing is. Well, it probably takes inspiration from probably multiple kind of monsters, if I had to guess. So yeah, that would be my guess. I don't think it's just one specific creature, since it's a movie after all.
heal itself, have to sniff out prey, and have to eat. Some of you probably know where I'm going with this, but for those that don't, I don't think that this thing is like an honest-to-God demon so much as it is a puppeteering organism. Alright, so here come the hate comments. It's wreck all over again. But I mean, if you really think about this thing
this could be
and
an
what it
alien.
does, it'll kind of start to make sense. Let's start with the strongest reason for it being a puppeteering organism. Think about what makes you, your brain. That's you. Your meat suit is simply life support. If you
So like some kind of symbiote, maybe. The wings, though. Everything is by everything else. Yeah. I don't think this guy's gonna come up with one specific thing for what this is. I feel like it takes inspiration from multiple things. That's usually how you get good and unique monsters, is when you don't just use one inspiration, but you use a bunch of them. So I'm getting like gargoyle. God, what is this one water monster that keeps popping into my head that I can't? It's like a classic horror movie monster, but I don't know what it's called. I was inspired by, yeah. And then some demon stuff, and then just like some alienistic junk. So yeah.
Is that life support enough, then it's lights out for you. This creature can be damaged to the point that it is lights out, as seen when the dad stabs the creature 35 times, and it does seemingly die before being jolted back awake for hibernation. I believe the body did technically die, but this creature within it, or really on it, didn't. The puppeteering organism is pretty easy to see if you actually do pay attention in the second movie, but it's literally that web thing on the back of the head. That thing attached to the base of the skull and spine is the creature that's really in control of the body, not the creeper itself. When the creeper is then stabbed through the eye socket by the javelin...
Oh yeah, that would make a good... So... But no, because it had its head completely removed at one point, didn't it? Was it its head that got completely removed I'm thinking of, or is that something else? Yeah, because he had the whole head replaced. So how could the head specifically be just the organism? Nah, it's the whole thing, because you can't kill it by decapitation, so the head can't be the single solitary organism. Yeah. Las Noches monster? No, I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. I think it's like water from the Black Lagoon kind of thing. I don't know what they're called. There is many classic water monsters.
The reason it's so disoriented, much more than normal, is because the javelin went all the way through to the creature on its back, injuring it in the process as well. Causing damage to the actual creature that's controlling everything is why it was injured. When it was also run over by the car, again, this caused damage to the thing on its head and back, and this is the reason it was knocked out for a while. Stabbing the body in the torso and abdomen 35 times did not cause damage to the creature, but instead caused damage to the body, meaning that the body was possibly dying, but the creature did not, and it was able to shock it back to life for hibernation. The idea that the creeper being a puppet becomes more clear when you realize it's actually human. Everything on this had to be replaced by human parts, not some...
Okay, this part I agree with. It was probably... I don't think it's specifically just the head. I think it's still the whole body, because we did see the whole part where the head got knocked off. So that can't be it, because he also replaced his head with another person's human head. So it's something more than just the head. But I think it likes to have its main something or other in its head, but it's not the driving force of the whole creature, if you understand what I'm saying. So we has to nuke it then. Yeah, it'd probably be... Okay, it's kind of reminding me of Cell. This thing's reminding me of Cell, where it's immortal, in a sense. Except it has like a hibernating kind of thing, but like you can... Basically, it's a regenerating kind of creature thing. So it doesn't matter if you take off its head or body parts and stuff; it'll still be alive. That's what I'm getting from this thing. Is it's kind of like Cell in that regard. from Dragon Ball
demon
Z.
parts. The eyes, ears, arms, legs, doesn't matter. Over the centuries, it's replaced by human components. The reason for this is we age and we die, but this creature controlling the body does not, or at least it has a much greater lifespan than humans. Therefore, it needs the body to remain functional, so it hunts the species that is its preferred host to repair
Naked
the
people.
body. The repairing of the body and the idea that this is a separate organism also becomes more clear when the creeper literally takes off its head and then has the new head come up from its torso. The creature reaches into the neck, pulling it up, and then latches onto everything, quickly changing it to its preferred visual markers. Now, the quick change of the creeper's face likely shouldn't happen that fast, but because it does, this would mean DNA is being changed entirely. Just want to point that out. But another thing to note about this new head is also the brain. The brain still belongs to the young man who lost his body, and judging by the time frame, it's still alive. And after the connection is made, it would be supported by the new body once more, meaning that it should technically still be alive, meaning that he's still in there. But it doesn't matter, because even with the brain being functional, that's not what's piloting the body. And this does make complete sense, because if you have the brain still functional, that means that the senses are still functional, and the interpretation of those senses is still functional, which means electrical signals are still being sent, which the creature can then still interpret, which means it's now still viable as a hunter. So you may be asking, well, why does it do this? What's the point? I mean, again, imagine it as sort of a symbiotic relationship that definitely favors the winged creature more so than the human, so it is somewhat parasitic. Or it's definitely parasitic, you're just used for your meat suit. Long ago, hundreds of years previously, is when this thing first arrived. Likely, it was quite literally some wings, a skinny organism with the same web-like wing pattern.
It could have maybe started out as like a tiny little parasite thing, and then it just adapted and grew, taking on, because it has like a lot of humanoid features and junk. So yeah, it could have started as like some kind of tiny again, making a Cell reference here, where Cell started off as a small thing, and then it kept changing and changing the more and more it absorbed.
Pattern that we see on the head. It was able to find a human and then attach itself, working its way into the spine and brain. It would seem at that point it was compatible, and the physiological changes began to take hold as the body was changed and adapted to hunting. The whole purpose of entering this relationship would likely be to be better at hunting. With it attached, it may on its own not have had the capability to successfully hunt or sniff out prey, or it's extremely vulnerable to damage in its singular form. But after finding a body, it would be able to really use the naturally occurring senses, enhance them with, say, the extra nasal opening closer to the olfactory bulb in the brain, and then, as I said, continue hunting humans much more effectively as a result. Now, one giant wrench.
But something I want to point out myself, though, because this creature specifically only targets people that are afraid. Like, if you're brave and stuff, it doesn't want you. So it has, like, a taste kind of preference. So that's interesting. Maybe when it started, it looked like a small bug from a distance. Could, yeah. But I still feel like this thing's just a demon, because it's using fear to hunt. I'm just gonna classify it as a demon. It's a demon.
Into this whole idea that I have would
eater.
be kind of the appearance of the song Jeepers Creepers playing if the beast is near. What would inspire radio waves to be picked up by a car? Sheer coincidence or something else? Again, this would appear fairly supernatural to you or I. However, I will say this. Back in the 1700s, you would have been burned at the stake if you had showed someone from that time era that you can turn on a TV nowadays just by pushing a button on a remote.
Right.
The point is, we see things that we don't understand as supernatural. So with that, a possibility, and I'm just saying, a possibility is that this creature does have some electrical interference ability around it. And considering it can interact with the neurons of the body to pilot the body, I would say it's possible.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna go change my vote to alien. Those things probably an alien then. Because if that's the case, maybe, the reason it seeks out people that have fear is because it has a specific kind of like transmission, kind of mental brain electrode, bloody blue, whatever the fuck it's called. So does it ever use anything technology wise again with electrons and electricity? No. And I like what I said, like fierce, what's better disease than a bug?
May be able to emit short-range frequencies, which can then be picked up by cars, because after all, it's just all energy. I know a little
also, why
far-fetched,
just the song,
but it's
then?
not more far-fetched than
Why
saying
does he have a
demon
theme
doing
song?
quite literally the same thing. Plus, I do want to add, it goes with its MO. This creature is a little bit sadistic, which we have seen when it toys with its prey. It's a thinking creature and does possess intelligence, and does really seem to enjoy the song for some unknown reason. So what's the best way to kind of toy with your prey and scare it? Letting it know that you're coming after it, and there's virtually nothing that it can do to stop you. This may also explain why at certain points cell phones and radios do not seem to work properly, as the creature is in close range, and its electrical and radio disturbance blocks the incoming and outgoing transmissions, like on the cop car or the bus, when the cops were literally just talking to somebody and they weren't able to actually reach anybody when they were on the bus. Another thing I would like to add as far as possible electrical interference would be how the birds are affected. We see many times that the crows appear to be around the creeper in various times when it is beginning to hunt or is about to wake up. But did you know that birds are extremely sensitive to electrical fields and magnetism? Specific portions of their brain appear to react to these changes. So my general thinking is that the same electrical field that may be producing the song that's heard on radios indicating it may be near, may be the same field that affects birds from what we can see. Again,
so basically, it's an alien-esque demon creature thingy that, basically, I guess maybe it shapes itself based off of all the humans it's been eating over the centuries and stuff. So it probably has, like, some kind of human-esque sense of, humor and malevolence and all that jazz. That has a theme song. Yeah, everybody needs a theme song. The uppers.
Again, far-fetched,
I need to finish
but we are working
mine.
with some pretty far-fetched scenarios. All this in mind, coupled with the fact that it does absolutely behave like an animal versus, say, like a demon, would make me think that this thing is a much more naturally occurring creature than, say, like a hellspawn. The biggest thing that gives away the two-animal hypothesis is the hibernation. It's pretty apparent that the creeper would like to continue its own personal revenge against the father at the end of Jeepers Creepers 2 for sort of messing up his hunt. But the crawler creature ends up kind of slowly engrossing the head as it's reaching the point that it has to go into hibernation for some unknown reason. Potentially a leftover trait from wherever it has evolved from. So now I'm just going to add in something here because I love this movie and I've always kind of thought about how would you destroy it. So how do you destroy this thing? Good Lord.
Personally, I think the dad has the best thing here. He has it where it's pinned up, locked away in a way that it can't escape. Has something pointed at it at all times, just in case if it does start to wake up. The dad has it right here. I think ultimately Jeepers Creepers 2 should be like a finale thing because I feel like he has defeated the creature in a sense because it's gonna be too weak to have like any energy to fight because he basically disrupted his the every 20 years or something that he gets to eat. So since he disrupted that, I believe that's why it's emaciated and weak. So it basically missed a very important meal kind of thing. So it could potentially just be slowly dying in that regard. So yeah, I think the dad already defeated it. I think it's already gone. Nukes. Use nukes. Always nukes. You are correct, Ship. My theme song is When You're Evil. I was listening to music and walked up to one of my cousins. The song came on the moment I was in the hearing range. When You're Evil. I'm not sure if I know that. I probably do, but maybe don't. No, I have my own theme song that I'm making. It's called Eternal Power. That's the name of the song you hear at the beginning of my streams. The instrumental version. I'm still working on the lyric version.
There are so many ways. Too many ways, actually. I mean, you could even Terminator this thing into a vat
throw it in lava.
Metal. But
that'd probably help.
We've actually seen that this creature is affected by damage to its body and limbs, meaning that it can't just regrow from a small amount of tissue. First things first, separate the
lava bomb
on its back from the body. While in hibernation, we saw in the barn that this thing is nailed up by its wings, meaning that despite incurring damage, it will not move or wake up. Once these two components are removed, for good measure, sort of cut the body into pieces, place them in separate, sort of welded metal boxes, and then bury them. As for the creature itself, it would likely be unknown if it can regrow from pieces, so odds are you don't
No. The easiest way is put it in acid, put it in lava. There you go. Maybe put it in a box, throw it in the ocean, put it in concrete. It's not going. It's done. It's donezo. They defeated it in this movie, I feel. So yeah. Lava always works. Okay, almost still works. It don't kill a platter man. Pillar man. Thank you. My brain just kicked in. All right. Well, thank you for the suggestion, Aurelie. That will end this video. Bye. All right.
Thank you all for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It would make me very happy. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug.